Nobody tells you what it's like to suddenly become your parent's caregiver. One day, you're their child. The next day, you're their caregiver. I was 37 when my mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and suddenly I found myself being responsible for her healthcare, medications, appointments, and insurance, and so much more. And honestly, I had no idea what I was doing. And now that I've been through this entire journey and I lost my mom to Alzheimer's, there are so many things I wish someone had told me in the beginning. So I just want to share a few things I wish I knew when I first became a caregiver and things that might make this journey a little less overwhelming for someone else. So, number one, find yourself a support group and don't wait until you're falling apart to do so. This is something I wish I had done earlier. A friend actually sent me a podcast where they were talking about caregiving, and that's how I learned about Hilarity for Charity. It's a nonprofit founded by Seth Rogen and Lauren Rogen. So Lauren's mother was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's, and they created this organization to provide support and resources for people affected by Alzheimer's and their caregivers. I was only 37 when I was suddenly thrown into the role of being a caregiver, and you can vent to your friends. Of course you can, but there is something so validating about talking to other people who are actually in your shoes, especially when you're relatively young and suddenly find yourself in the role that you never expected to be in. I joined a support group through Hilarity for Charity, and it became such an important part of my life during that time. I actually looked forward to our weekly Zoom calls. It was a group of women who were caring for their parents, and they just got it. You could say, I'm so frustrated today. I feel guilty. I'm just mad. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. And you didn't have to explain yourself. They understood. And if you're thinking, I don't really need a support group, I would still encourage you to try one. You don't have to be at your breaking point to deserve support. I've also heard that the Alzheimer's Association offers support groups and educational programs for caregivers, including programs for adult children caring for their parents. So find one that works for you. Number two, respite care is not a luxury. This one took me way too long to understand because when you're caring for an adult, especially a parent, you don't necessarily get natural breaks in the same way you might when you have a young child who's going to school or has other built-in care. And you deserve breaks. You need breaks. Needing a break does not mean that you love your parent any less. Respite care can look different depending on your situation. Maybe you can hire someone to come into the house for a few hours a week. Maybe a family member takes over for an afternoon. Maybe look into an adult day center. And depending on your state and your eligibility, there are also maybe programs that can help cover respite or in-home care. So I would really encourage you to look into what's available to you because you have to take care of your own mental and physical health, and you cannot pour from an empty cup. And I know that's such a cliche, but it's true. You're taking care of another human being. You need someone to take care of you too. And number three, learn the system before you desperately need the system. This is a big one because suddenly you're dealing with doctors, hospitals, insurance, medications, Medicare, Medi-Cal, facilities, home care, legal paperwork, and so many phone calls. And nobody hands you a manual. You just kind of have to figure it out as you go. So if I could go back, I would start learning about the resources available to my mom much earlier. And what benefits does she qualify for? What does her insurance cover? What happens if she can no longer live safely on her own? What resources are available in my city and state? And don't be afraid to ask other people. Ask your friends, ask other caregivers, ask people in your network who already have gone through this. Ask social workers, ask people within the healthcare system because there are so many things I didn't know existed until I desperately needed them. And when you're already in a crisis, that's a really difficult time to start figuring everything out. So if you can, learn before you need it. There's definitely more that I could talk about, but for now, those are the few things I really wish I had known when I started the journey. And I think there's one more thing that's important to say. So when caregiving ends, you can be left wondering, just who am I, right? I know that because I'm living that part now. My mom passed away this year and I'm rebuilding my life after caregiving. So if you're watching this and you're somewhere in the middle of the journey, I just want you to know that you're not alone. Be kind to yourself. You're doing the best you can in a situation that no one really prepares you for. And taking care of yourself isn't separate from taking care of your parent. It's actually part of it. So Sending all my love.